Hello, Catalyst team. This is Preston, one of the co-founders of Mainline. Wanted to show you some of the stuff we've been working on recently. One thing we realized throughout the course of the project here was really that obviously everything came down to providing value to businesses, specifically to Web3 projects and Cardano projects, to really help deliver the kind of analysis and data and like decision making potential, to kind of help see through all the challenges with particularly Twitter. Um, and what we found through the process here is, we built a lot of tooling out that it's really great. It's like a massively parallel potential data auditing system, that can pull in and process a lot of data. But what we realized through this was the importance of really finding product market fit. And so, what that's led us to do is essentially develop modules on top of our own platform, so that we can turn around and drive revenue and actually get clients with these particular modules. So I wanted to show you the three that we've created and started to sell. The first one here is the influencer candidate report. So the output of this report is what we use in our KOL service right now to essentially find the highest quality KOLs in a given ecosystem and then help the projects onboard that. So right now we're selling that as a white glove service where we can essentially do the list creation, the contact, the onboarding, and even in some cases the management. We also have a list only service where we use this module to create a list of high quality influencers that we can pass off to a project for them to do the outreach and the onboarding. So I wanted to show you kind of under the hood of what that looks like. So all these different modules are working off of a queue system. Each module has multiple steps in it that essentially glue together a lot of the sort of puzzle pieces that we've been creating over the past couple of years. So in the influencer candidate report, it's a bit confusing in this TMUX session here, but there's three different steps running. This first step over here in the bottom left, I'm actually running for 17,000 different tokens. And so what this step does is goes and grabs all the followers, all the engagers, and all of the following accounts and puts it into one big bucket. Then step two here, which is what you see rolling down the screen here, this is looking at all these results that are being pulled from step one and applying our filtering to it, our scores, our proprietary scores. So particularly things like the quality score, the coordinated followers score, as well as a few impression stats as well, like impression median, which actually brings us to the third step here, which is when we actually go and do a real-time audit of the last week of the posts of those KOLs, or at least the prospective KOLs. And then from there, we're able to pull things like the impression median. So we know, in a given ecosystem that these KOLs are following or engaging or are being followed by, in this case, all the different token projects. We know in step two that they are basically being passed through our scoring filter so that we can filter out the KOLs that have large bot networks. And in step three, we can figure out who's actually getting attention. So high quality KOLs with high quality following that are then getting attention via impression medians. So that's what's going on here. What that comes out to is literally just a list that you can work off of here in order to work with your project or onboard some of these KOLs. So that's one module. Another module here is the early stage project report. So one thing that we've had interest from VCs in finding early stage projects before they get major investment. So we created a module for that too, and we've sold it to one VC, and we have multiple different VCs that are kind of hovering around trying to get it as well. So similar thing, we have a queue system set up with step 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this case, and it all uses the atoms of the platform. So step 1 is getting all the users followed by a given list. So in this case, what we want are KOLs. because we expect that KOLs will be following projects that are early stage, or at the very least be following projects at all, right? That's what the rest of the steps to do is to figure out, okay, well, these are the accounts that KOLs are following. How many of those KOLs are following one of those projects? That's what step 2 is here, where we're running a following overlap report. So for example, if I have a list of 100 KOLs and I have this one project that's followed by 10 of the KOLs but has a low follower count, let's say, and is brand new, that's probably something I want to pay attention to. And that's what the step 3 is basically applying some common filters that are things like, I want accounts that are younger than 6 months old, and I want accounts that have less than, say, 5,000 followers, because that's really getting at the new projects here. And then step 4 here, this is where we actually, one of the places we integrate GPT. We actually pass the outputs of step 3 here into GPT with the prompt, something along the lines of, you're an early stage Web3 VC and you're on the lookout for projects that you can invest in. Here's a list of Twitter profiles, what do you think, kind of thing. And then we've integrated that to basically deliver, as you might expect, a list. In this case, we delivered it to one of our VC partners here. Quality scores don't matter as much with projects, because lots of projects, might have done different things throughout their life in terms of growing their network. What we're really interested in is younger projects that, honestly, it is better if they have a higher quality score, because that means that their following is actually good, which of course de-risks the investment there. So again, this is one of the modules that we're delivering to VC partners. And then the third module is the ambassador stats report. So for projects that we ran into that were already working with a set of KOLs, but really just needed to track them, that's what we have this module running here too. And just like before, it's step 1, 2, 3, where step 1 is looking for all of the clients, or in this case the projects, all of their posts and who engage with their posts, so that we can kind of cross filter with the influencer lists that we know. Step 2 is actually going and grabbing the recent tweets of the lists of KOLs or ambassadors, and that's how we can figure out, okay, well, how many of those tweets were using the project keywords. And then step 3 is kind of gluing all that together and writing the report to this page here, where you're able to see for any given list of KOLs against your project and your project keywords, who is actually doing what for your project. How many original tweets are they making with those keywords? How many retweets, replies, quotes, favorites? How many impressions are they delivering, et cetera, et cetera. So this module actually has more front end involved in terms of its feature delivery, and that's kind of one of the points I wanted to make in closing here. Our focus really has been, to create business value, because that's the only way that we can create a sustainable project and a sustainable ecosystem. And what we found through the process of building out from the data science side, building out all of the different, ways that we're able to evaluate accounts, is that we needed to take it one step further and actually deliver the final value. In the case of these 3 modules, a list of high-level influencer candidates, a list of early-stage projects that VCs can get value out of, and a tracking module for the ambassador programs that people are already running. So this is some of the things that we've been working on. Happy to demo any of these things one-on-one with anyone from Catalyst or IOHK. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much for your time. Take care.